It's so awkward starting.
It's already started. This is all
It's already
sneaking.
started. This is all on it.
All right. Well, welcome to the Strong Men Say podcast with our guest, Tyson.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome
Good
to
to have
your
you.
interrogation.
Yeah. So how this came to be was Bradman was sitting up in the office, and Bradman has moved down from Sydney, haven't you?
Yeah, for 6 months.
To work at the gym, get a feel for how things operate, right? Like how the gym operates, work on the desk.
Slavery.
Yes. 6 months of slavery. Paying him $5 and in food scraps, so it should be good. But and he was sort of just saying that being on my side of the microphone, always asking the questions, always, I guess, leading the conversation. Yeah. We don't get an opportunity to hear my thoughts, my backstory, where I came from. So that's fine, bro. Just ask me anything. We'll sit down and have a conversation. So Bradman's in charge, and I'll sit here and be the guest for once, which is nice. I feel comfy here.
Yeah. So we're going to start right from the beginning.
Yep.
You talk about your family dynamic, how you were as a kid.
Yep.
Very energetic, I'm assuming.
Energetic. I was actually a quite a kid, I would say. Like I look at my son now, and he's full of energy. Like he's full of life. And my mum always says that I wasn't like my son is busy, like just a lot of work, and he's great. But I was probably a little bit quieter as a kid. Like I was like a drawer, maybe like a little bit more like arts and crafty, to be honest. Pardon?
Siblings?
Who's 2 years younger.
Okay.
So family dynamic, dad, mum, sister that was 2 years younger, grew up on the poorer side of things. Like, just like I would say lower, not like low, but like lower middle class kind of thing. Pretty straightforward. Like dad was a concreter. When I was like a teenager, mum worked hospitality like a couple nights a week. Like we lived in a shit little brick house in like a suburb here and stuff like that. So like we always had like enough, I guess. Like we always had whatever we wanted. And I think like my mum especially like made sure we did. But yeah, definitely not like well off or like higher socio-economic area. Yeah, sister 2 years younger. That's probably like about it, you know. Yeah. Like, what else do you want to know from the family dynamic stuff?
Just more about you, really. So, going through school.
Yeah, so going through school, quieter. Went through school, like primary school, pretty chill. I was a little bit of a shit kid, like in that like early teenage years.
What, like troublemaker or?
Yeah,
or funny?
Yeah, I was. So, probably. So right up until I was 9 years old when I started playing trumpet.
Yeah.
My auntie,
Never picked that.
No, not many people do. So my auntie is a very, very good trumpet teacher in Melbourne. And she basically said, which is probably one of the best gifts that someone's given to me in hindsight, which was for my sister and I, when we hit like a certain age, she said, you can pick any instrument. I said drums. She said, pick another. I picked trumpet. She played trumpet, and I fucked around on hers. So from 9 years old, she paid for music lessons for us, right? Okay. So every week. So right up through school and stuff like that, pretty good. I was quite a kid till I got confident and cocky. And like,
so
like
what
11,
made you?
Yeah, I don't know. Not much. Probably just hitting puberty early.
Yeah, okay. Did you play sport during that time as well, or was it just music?
Yeah, I mostly, so I play music from 9, and then when I turned 12, when I was still in primary school, I got the opportunity to go trial for a school.
Okay. To music high school?
Yeah, to go play in their bands and stuff and see how I went, and went well. So it was mostly music. I did play all sports, footy a little bit, lots of basketball, just like general kids sports.
Were you good at anything or just?
Average,
yeah.
Athletic, but
yeah.
Average.
Okay.
Like I would say the perfect storm for someone to be average at ball sports but athletic enough to go do a sport later. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so you were always like naturally above average.
Naturally above average, and just not good at anything in particular.
Did you try to be good at anything or just?
I tried.
But like, did you do like any extra work?
No. Like, I wasn't like playing basketball and like training heaps at night time or doing extra clinics and all that sort of stuff. It was always fun because I was always probably like I would practice music. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So that was always the priority.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'd have lessons every week and stuff like that. And then I got a scholarship when I was 12 to go to the school that I went to. So I got a full ride through private school from year 7 to 12.
Okay.
Which is like, my options at that time probably wouldn't have been that great. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, so
did sports stop then? And just all
No.
music?
So that's when sport got more busy too. So I went to a school that was like a private school that like was still big in sport, that still was big in music. So I would like I still play footy. I was playing footy. I was playing basketball. I started rowing in year 7 and stuff like that. So I was playing a fair bit of sport, but I also played music. So I was also doing band practices a couple nights a week, and then like practicing solo stuff and all that sort of like basically a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was involved in a lot of sport, but I was also involved in the music side of stuff, and probably from an early age towed that line between like I'm not going to say the cool kid, but like in with like probably the popular kids, but also playing in the band with the band kids. Do you know what I mean?
Mix,
like the boys that I hung out with were rougher boys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't the band guys, and I was still playing in the bands and stuff.
So was the goal during this time to go professional, or was
Not music ever.
never?
No.
So you were just good at it.
I was good at it, and it was a good way to get through school and an opportunity that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And then my sister got because I kind of that thing with that private school where you've got a sibling there. You know what I mean? Yeah. They kind of get in. So my sister got like she was a good musician too, but she got a half scholarship. She played French horn. So we sort of both went to the school. Yeah, French horn's an odd one. yeah, totally different. Yeah. So started school there. Like, I was like a bigger kid by like 13. Like, I was a, believe it or not, like played ruck and footy and stuff.
Like
and
chubby or muscle?
Both. I was really self-conscious. Hey, like I was a...
We all were at that age.
Yeah. I think people forget, like, but it depends. I was a like solid kid, and like now that I look back on it, you're like, oh, you're probably just like a little bit of puppy fat. Like, you were just like a little bit chubby, but a solid kid.
Yeah.
But like at the time, you're like, you're fat, like you're self-conscious, you're just going to school swimming and trying to cover up and all that sort of stuff. So I actually started like running and sneaking into the gym at maybe 15. Like, I was playing footy and stuff still at that time. Gym? Nah, the leisure centre that I ended up managing.
I used to sneak in.
I used to pay for I used to go down there at 6 o'clock in the morning before school and pay for a swim and then go into the gym because you had to be like 16 to be in there or something. And I was like 15 or like 14 and a half.
Yeah.
So that was my first entry into the gym. The ladies would let me go and stuff, and then I finally got like a gym membership and stuff at 16. But like before then, the whole time I was basically playing music and doing the gym stuff, or at least like playing a lot of sport, like a lot of basketball, a lot of footy and stuff.
So during this time, what were you thinking, like career-wise? Like, what did you want to do towards the later years of high school?
Journalism.
Same.
Yeah, I liked English. Yeah. Before I found like gym and like sport to an extent, but mostly gym, I was always like creative.
Okay.
So I was like drawing, like I wanted to be an illustrator. I was like drawing, Viscom, graphic design. Okay. Great tools as a business owner. Do you know what I mean? True. Because like I did the Strongman Way logo. Like I did like you're doing graphics for social media and all that sort of stuff. So it kind of ends up being a job anyway. But before then, I wanted to be like illustration. I wanted to do like English. I loved writing. I loved creative writing. I liked like writing pieces. I had a really good positive like English teacher as well, and like that helps, at that age, like you kind of end up wanting to do where like your teacher did, and then that sort of faded out by, I've just fucking found gym, and then it was on.
So was your first job after high school straight into being a PT?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So I found gym at 16 or like 15, 16. My first thing was running. Like I ran and lost a lot of weight. I was like maybe 82, 85 kilos in like year 9. Do you Do you know what I mean? So I'd run like 5 kilos every morning 5Ks before school. And I was pretty like obsessed. You know what I mean? Like I started weighing food and all that sort of stuff.
Okay,
I would
so you
say
went all in early.
yeah, probably by 16,
Yeah.
I was like weighing food, counting almonds, like the whole deal, like the whole shebang. I would say probably borderline like unhealthily, like at that age. Do you know what I mean? Like I had an unhealthy obsession
So
because
when you started the obsession, did you notice everything else like started to drop back a bit, or
nah, I didn't at all.
so you were just all in on everything?
Yeah,
All right.
from the go. If you talk to my mum and like people will say like, if you if you talk to my mum, like my parents through my younger years were like, you don't have to grow up so quick. Like you don't have to do it all right now. Like you don't. Like they're just kind of like slow down. That was me from an early age. And people talk about bandwidth or having like a big cup to handle a lot, right?
Yeah.
Man, I've been juggling and rushing around since I was fucking 12. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've gotten pretty good at it now.
Yeah. So like when you're like, oh, like it takes time to like build bandwidth. Like, you know, when I was 12, I was in primary school. I was going to the high school to play in the band on a Monday and Wednesday night. Do you know what I mean? Like I was playing sports. By the time I was like 16 and could actually go to the gym, I was like Monday night was Wind Symphony at like school, right? Then it was like Wind Symphony till 6 o'clock. Then it was home, eat, jump on my pushy, ride to the gym, train a fucking day out of the Arnold's bodybuilding encyclopedia for 2 hours, finish up at 9 o'clock, come home. Do you know what I mean? Like Tuesday was like concert band, Thursday night was stage band, Wednesday morning was jazz band, like night times it was like practice music, train for 2 hours, maybe play basketball, like school.
Has it ever dropped off?
In terms of like how much I'm doing?
Like have you ever had like a down period where like maybe something happened and then you noticed everything starting to fall back, or?
Probably in periods it's been less, in periods it's been more. But I would
You've always had that, like you've always had something to go all in.
I've always had a lot of plate spinning. Like I got good at like just being busy was kind of like my natural default.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was even from a young age pretty good. I would say that like it's hard because I feel like it was like that early, and then I found gym and was like very obsessive with that. I feel like gym was an obsession or like a good out. You know, I remember being in the gym and like doing chin-ups and being like, to train the best, you got to be the best. Like at that time,
So you had that mindset at 16.
literally doing chin-ups at like 16 or 17, doing that, probably with gloves on.
That ruins it.
Yeah, that's one of my like more visceral memories because I was really bad at chin-ups. And one of the guys who I still know, Horvath was his last name. He was the big guy in the gym, right? Or pretty big. And he was like, if you're bad at chin-ups, stop using the assisted chin-up machine. Just build up 25 every time you come in. Like start every workout with 25 chin-ups before you start. So I remember like being in the gym, trying to like do chin-ups before I could start my fucking biceps and like banging out reps. And I remember actually thinking about that because at that time, by 16, I wanted to become a personal trainer. Like I wanted to work at the leisure centres. I wanted to maybe do exercise, sports science or physiotherapy. And I wanted to maybe one day own like at that time my idea was like a health and performance centre for like sports, or you know what I mean?
It's the complete opposite.
Oh, I wouldn't say the opposite, but yeah, slightly different.
Not much of a leisure centre.
Maybe like performance centre, you know, like where we did a bit of everything kind of thing. That was kind of like maybe where I thought I would take things and maybe do like physiotherapy or exercise sports science. But I knew 100% that like after school, I wanted to start working as like a gym instructor.
Okay.
In that gym that I was training at.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I ended up
straight
managing
into
it. So I was working at McDonald's, like spending my paycheck on chicken through school and protein, and then I got a job. I knew that I wanted to become a gym instructor. Yeah. So I became a lifeguard at that leisure centre.
Okay.
Because it's much easier to become a gym instructor there because it's quite challenging if you're already employed, right? Because it's the same banding. Then became a swim teacher, then became a receptionist, then became a aquatic supervisor, then became a duty manager. And then I actually started in the gym as a gym manager or supervisor before gym instructing because I couldn't get the gym instructing. I had to wait for the interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
But they were short on supervisors, and I had a supervisor banding.
So you went straight in there.
So I went straight in as a supervisor.
Okay.
And then I eventually got put on as a gym instructor there.
Okay.
So I sort of went down the back door. That was by the time I was like 18 or 19. So I finished school kind of thing.
So did you have many PT clients, or was it more just
It was
general
on
overseeing?
floor. It was when I was a gym instructor. It was probably like one of the better jobs that I've had for developing or sharpening your teeth. It was basically rolling in appointment after appointment with like Gen Pop people, writing programs, take them through the program.
So you were coaching at this point.
Yeah, like you would come in for the day.
Yeah.
The sales ladies would put appointments in. You would the way that they would have it would be like you'd have assessment or workout 1 and workout 2. So you basically do an assessment, write a program, take them through the program, see you later, 2 weeks later, do another workout, make sure they're all sweet, and then good to go. So you'd come in and you might have 4 or 5 people that you have an assessment with, and then take them through the workouts. Or you'd be taking workout 2s written by other instructors. So it was really good learning.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that was by the time I was sort of like 18, 19. I finished my Cert 3 and 4 while I was finishing school, while I was finishing VCE.
Okay.
So my last exam was the same day as my first test for my Cert 3 and 4 that night.
So you're still doing 2 things at once.
Yeah, plus band, plus like sport, plus training and stuff like that. I went to my first time I tried to become a personal trainer. I went at like 16. I asked mum to take me down to go to the sales meeting and stuff like that, and they told me it was going to be like $3,500, and I could do it part time after school. And my mum left and said, absolutely fucking
It's
not.
a bargain these days.
Yeah, it is. But I was like, Mum, I can pay it off with my paycheck. It's like, what, like you earn $14 at McDonald's at the time. I was like, I can pay it off with like my paycheck and stuff like that. She's like, you go to the gym, you've got 3 nights of band, and you want to add 2 nights of this, plus you got school. And
Did you know there were 7 days?
I was like, yeah. So yeah, that was like a no. So I think I came back at like 18 and stuff like that, and it was actually quite a lot cheaper, and things settled down a little bit. So so I'd wanted to do that for quite some time. So by the time I finished school, I was already like qualified, like probably mid-year. By the time I finished school and stuff, I was like qualified and stuff and ready to go. So
you're working in the leisure centre for years?
No,
Did you move on to?
I moved to Melbourne. When I was like 19, I moved to Melbourne. I chose to go to Deakin Burwood to do exercise sports science.
Is that a university?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did move to Melbourne, studied out of Deakin Burwood. To do exercise sports science. I lived up there for 12 months.
Is that while working as a PT or?
Yeah, so I got 2 jobs up there as a PT. Okay. So I worked at Oakley, a gym in Oakley as a personal trainer and gym instructor, and then also ran the Monash University gym in Caulfield. Okay. Which was kind of like a smaller university gym, so you'd be the only one on shift. You'd take appointments, you'd run the desk, you'd do reception. It was quite good because you did everything, you know what I mean? Like, which was quite interesting as well. So,
and at what point during this phase did you find strongman?
I didn't for ages.
I'll get more specific in your training.
Nah. So I was mostly training for like bodybuilding.
Okay.
I had a bodybuilding coach in Melbourne, Lucky Hatzipentalis, who's quite famous in the Melbourne scene. Trained at Joey's Dandenong. I wasn't the smartest young person sometimes. I lost my license at 19 drink driving for 11 months. When I was like family dynamic, when I was 16, we took like an AVO out on my dad. So like my dad was a charismatic person. Like we're quite fucking similar. But he was a very violent person, violent history. Like he was, like Underbelly and stuff like that. Like when Underbelly came out, he was like, oh fuck, I used to work for those guys. Like, nice. When he passed, I got some good stories and stuff, which is like, it's a funny thing because he was like charismatic, very loyal, good friend. Like he had so many people tell you like he was such a fucking great man, all this sort of stuff. And it's so interesting when you like, I was at his funeral and stuff, and I was like, yeah, well, you weren't his son, were you? It was an interesting dynamic, but that was 16. So I was pretty good those next 2 years, but that definitely kind of, Just kind of like, I mean, growing up in that environment for like your whole life as well is definitely like, there's definitely some things that like arose because of that. But I think like once I hit like 18, 19, I just had like a bit of a turbulent time when I like finished school, like a big transition time. And it was probably one of the best things that happened to me because like I tried to talk to my dad and stuff. It hadn't worked. He was, my dad was a on and on again, like drug addict as well. So we had a turbulent relationship, like physically and like we would go at it. Do you know what I mean? Like I was a very turbulent, my dad was a fighter. So I grew up, like to probably back up in terms of like family dynamic or like drive and like athleticism. When I was 3, I started kickboxing. My dad
like from your dad? Like he pushed you
my
to
dad was fought in Thailand, fought here quite a lot, ran a group of guys.
in kickboxing?
Yep.
Okay.
He ran a security company down here, lost his security license for excessive force. Transcript for the court transcript was excellent for that. Basically headbutted a guy and threw him down the stairs and left him.
Did he deserve it?
Yeah, I kind of did by the sounds of it, to be honest. I was like, that's fucking solid. But when I grew up, I grew up with guys coming around to our house, into our garage, like 2 or 3 nights a week, and like rough guys coming around to train fighting. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'd jump in there, Dad'd make me skip. Like, I would like hit bags. Like, I would jump in with like some fucking gnarly dudes from like I always think like Colt growing up in a strength gym, similar vibe but very different because like everyone's a fucking nice guy in here, you know? Like there's like a bunch of big sweethearts.
It's a different mindset.
That was not a big room. That wasn't a room of sweethearts. Do you know what I mean? Like fucking tough guys. And like I grew up for like the next like few years, like taking my tie shorts to fucking like show and tell. Do you know what I mean? And my boxing gloves and stuff
So you're
like that.
proud of it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I really enjoyed it. The only reason I stopped is I got in trouble because I, you know, when you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing, and I just I used a skill.
A headbutt?
No, I kicked a kid in the head, and
How old were you here?
9, I think, from the story.
It's impressive.
Yeah, and that was the end. So that was like mum put her foot down and stuff like that. Like you're too young to understand what you know and all that sort of stuff. So that was kind of the end of that. But I had like an early like exposure, and they kept training and stuff like that as well in my house. But like I had an early exposure to like training hard. Do you know what I mean? Like and like watching guys train hard and fight and all that sort of stuff.
So you like associated training with like you have to have that mindset. Like if you want to
I think so. Yeah, I think that's part of it for sure. Like I just saw guys having a real fucking hard dip at it, you know, which I always found interesting, and I think that sort of like bled into it as well. And like in general, my dad and my dad's side all very athletic. Like his brother, he had a twin brother. And him, very competitive, both very athletic. You know, I mean, my pa would always coach, like, he's very big sports person. Like, it was always kind of there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, fast forward, I'm bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding. I wanted to get big, you know. I didn't watch fucking natural bodybuilding. I wanted to be big, you know, I wanted to be strong, yeah. I lost my license when I was 19, drink driving. One of the best things that could have happened to me. Lost it for 11 months. Had 11 months I moved to Melbourne, riding in the fucking rain, to a shift at 5 a.m. to open a fucking gym in the middle of Melbourne winter. Do you know what I mean? Like, catch 2 buses to uni every day. Like, as a young person who, like, was on the seesaw, like, tipping, it was a good fuck up to make. Do you know what I mean? Like, very thankful. Gave me a lot of, like, writing and, like, thought time in the fucking miserable conditions and a lot of accountability. Do you know what I mean? Which was fucking excellent. So, I worked in a couple gyms. I had to like go to I used to run like an active adults class, and my boss came to me when I was there at Oakley Rec Centre, and he'd be like, okay, so on Wednesday, your Wednesday shift, you have to just drive, it's like 10 minutes up the road to an active adults centre and just run a session, just take some equipment in your car. Yeah. And I was like, I don't have a car. And it's like, that's fine, you can take mine. I'm like, I don't have a license. So every Wednesday I'd like put a sports bag on, fill it with fucking equipment and ride half an hour uphill. Yeah. Take these active adults class and then ride back to finish my shift and then ride home. It was fucked. Some cunt stole my wheels one day at this train station too.
What did you have to run up?
Oh, I was like, you are fucking kidding me. Yeah. So I'd ride to, you know what? If you speak to Lucky about it now, because like we've seen him and stuff like that since, he'll tell you about it. He was fucking good. Grueling sessions. I used to come and do a PT session with him once a week out of Dandenong Doherty's. So I'd like catch the 5 o'clock train, take my pre-workout, my mesomorph, my DMAA in the morning, get on that train, peak, jump, grab my bike off, go in, train with him at like 7 o'clock or 6:30 or whatever at Doherty's Dandenong. One time he made me throw up, and I remember him like coming out and he's like, "Did you throw up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You got to eat your breakfast again." Like, not bad, but like that was like, I had some hard coaches early. Do you know what I mean? Like training intensity was like high. And if you speak to like Tom Brown or any of the guys who used to train around me when I was young, same thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably some like background, probably a fucking chip on my shoulder, probably just a little bit fucked up. Yeah. But like my intensity for training,
all
like
you know.
it's all I know.
All you ever knew
it's
from
all
kid.
I knew was like, that was like, training was like saving grace. Like that, those moments of like high intensity, like lose yourself, like overcoming that hard effort was just like the most rewarding, satisfying, like relief giving, like just, yeah, it was just a moment in time where you had the control to fucking like put effort in and get that reward, you know? So I did that. Then I had Scott Goebel as a coach for a while. I never actually competed. When I was about to compete the last time, when I got pretty close, I actually got the job to move down here to become gym manager. I was 21.
Where at?
At LeisureLink. So there's a big rec centre down here. It was the one that I was working at previously.
Oh, okay.
I'd applied. I was going like, oh, I'll just go through the exercise. It'd be good to apply kind of thing. Yeah. And I got the job at 21. So I was the youngest one on the management team by fucking ages. Yeah. So I moved back down and I started uni down here part-time and started managing that gym. I did not find powerlifting or strongman basically until maybe 18 months before we opened the gym. So I was maybe 21. Maybe like at 21. Yeah. And 2014 was my first powerlifting novice comp and strongman comp. Pardon?
Can we get some numbers? Do you remember?
Squat, 225, 140, 260.
At
21, at like under 100.
Okay.
Or I think it was.
So it was strong.
Yeah, for like a bro. Yeah.
For someone who didn't try.
Yeah, who like, no,
yeah,
100%. And it wasn't even like now, like, now every kid's fucking strong. Like you're fucked. Like 20. Like it's totally different. Like back then, like that was strong as a kid. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I hadn't really done too much. Like, and this is why I kind of laugh now when I watch kids like start in powerlifting, right?
Yeah.
Like we were just, I was bodybuilding. So you squat bare knee. I didn't know what a belt was in a fucking stringer, squatting like 4 sets of 6 to 8. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like 160 or 170. Do you know what I mean? Now
16-year-olds doing percentage back downs.
Yeah, percentage back downs and 5x5 with the stiffest knee sleeves they can at 140. Do you know what I mean? And taking 5 minutes rest. It's like, no, 90 seconds rest. Let's go. Yeah. You know, and then we're doing lunges, and then we're doing fucking hack squats, and then we're like, you were just the dumbest programming and training ever.
But it worked.
But you'll blast yourself in 2 hours and it'll work. Do you know what I mean? Like you're young. You can just fucking go and recover and go eat and go again, you know? Yeah. So I found powerlifting basically because I was actually super worried about losing my aesthetic. Which I always find funny now, but I was like, oh, I don't really want to lose my aesthetics for bodybuilding, but in my off season, I just feel like I want to try like a strength block. Do you know what I mean? And I spoke to the guy who I opened the first Strong Geelong with, Jamie Bissett, and he was the only person I knew powerlifting. It was a friend from school. And I went and watched one of his comps and stuff once, and I was like, "Can you write me a strength block?" And he's like, "Yeah." I did the strength block. I never went back. The next program I ran was Chico, which is proper powerlifting.
Again, all in again.
Yeah. I did like one strength block, and I was like, "All right, cool."
What's the hardest block?
Yeah. Then I did fucking 16 weeks of Chico and did a comp. So I did my first novice comp. I did that was in January. I did 225, 140, 260. And then I ran Chico and I did another comp in the back end of March, which was my first sanction meet. That was GPC State. And I went like 260, missed 272, 160, and then like 280 or something.
So it was a quick come up.
Yeah. It was like, you know, like I think like Chico's really good for one thing. It's like if you got no idea what the fuck you're doing, or you do a lot of squat, bench, and dead, you get pretty you get pretty proficient relatively quick, you know. And then the same person, Jamie, was like, "You'd be good at strongman, dude.
Yeah.
Like you should try it. Like you're athletic." And I was like, "What's strongman?" No,
so you still had no idea.
No idea,
even when
bro.
you were in powerlifting.
No. Like until like I got into powerlifting and did it, until I like got into strongman and did it, like it wasn't even like it is now though. You know, you guys have it so fucking lucky, man, because it's everywhere. Okay. If you want to watch strongman, like it's in the archives. Do you know what I mean? Like you want to watch powerlifting, it wasn't like what it is now. Even social media was not what it's like now.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't even programming. It's like we had Texas Method. You'd run Texas Method over and over. You had Chico, Texas Method, Smolov, fucking Mad Cow 5x5 and some templates on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you watched Candido and got some fucking programming, you know? Yeah, the light guy knows Candido, hey? It just wasn't like what it is now. Like we had 531, we had Q Method. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the programs that we had, you know? Like it was PDFs.
So how did you get into your first strongman comp then? Like, what was the programming for that?
I would just go fuck around. I didn't do much, to be honest.
Okay, so just touch the events every once in a while and see what happens.
Well, there was no way to train it.
Oh, so you didn't even have the equipment?
I had to try to go to Ocean Grove, there was a little gym called, it was a great gym called Heavy Metal Barbell, which is Ocean Grove, run by Rick and Taz. Great guys. They were out in OG. It was probably about 35-minute drive for me at the time, 40 minutes. Maybe. So I'd drive out there maybe once a week and go play with the events. They had, limited equipment. It was like a strength gym, but it like was rudimentary compared to what we have on offer now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like
not just here, but like in general. It was great. Like it was a great gym and really good vibe. But I'd go in and touch. He had a little bit of idea. He'd done like one strongman comp. Like I put up a video a while ago, like being like start to finish, and you've watched some of those early videos. One, the camera quality is potato, but two, like you're walking awkwardly, you're trying to pick up the stone, like everything's disgusting, and you didn't really have anyone to teach you. You just had to like learn, right?
Do you remember like what your first time doing stones was like, or like numbers or
nah? But
I
remember like I think in that first comp, it was like a stiff bar deadlift. It was an Odin. I think I pulled like 272, which was good. Like I think it was like a stone for reps maybe at 100, 110.
Okay.
I think I did all right. And then it was like a log press at like 80 kilos for reps.
Is this under 105 still,
yeah, they had like, it was like Strength Quest. So I think I had like classes, but I won like the class and stuff. But it wasn't really like that. It was good, but I was hooked.
So that was 2015.
That was 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
And then 2016, you're at your first ASM.
Yeah.
How did that process happen? Like, what was the scene like back then? Like, did you just get invited based off results, or like?
I would have to look back through photos to understand the timeline. 2016. So 2016. So 2014 first comp, maybe 2014. End of 2014 might have been like the first Vic qualifier for Arnold's. Was 2015 the first Arnold's?
Yeah.
Was that the first Arnold's, 2015?
I have no idea.
It'd be close to. I'd have to check the dates. We had like a qualifier at Into Performance, I believe. And then it would have been like 2015 where it was like Coco maybe, Rory, a few of us in that like 105 class. Potentially, I think as like one of the stronger 105s, I got an invite to ASM. Like it was just kind of like invite.
So the open scene wasn't that big.
No, and like, well, it was big, but like as a stronger 105, I think I got like the strongest 105. I think I got the invite. I can't remember, to be honest. I don't think it was like a qualifying at that point. Do you know what I mean? I reckon it was, because I reckon 2015 I did VIX. So it would have been 2016 at the Moto Expo show. Is that the one where Rongo won?
I didn't know what Strongman was in 2016.
we were like 8 years old when this was happening.
No idea.
Yeah, 8 years old. I reckon like, because the only way that I really can tell is like through my like Facebook photos. Do you know what I mean? Like I just kind of like becomes a little bit lost. 2014 first comp, obviously got into it, went all in. I opened the gym in 2015. So, like, I found it in 2014.
And you just wanted to open a gym for it.
Well, there's nowhere to train.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, and this is when I tell people, like, more balls than brains. Like, it's not an understatement. Like, I jumped straight into it and was like, well, there's nowhere to train. I've been a coach, for as long as I have been, like, doing this or whatever. And I want to train somewhere. So we opened a gym in 2015. So January 2015, 12 months later, I had a strength gym, which was Strong Geelong. And we had strongman stuff and we had powerlifting stuff. And you know what? Like, in the early days of that gym, we didn't have, like, I didn't have any work. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have clients. I didn't have, like, a lot of PTs. Like, we'd open the gym, you'd watch some fucking Netflix, you'd eat food. Like, didn't make any money. But, like, I had 3 to 4 hours of training every day. Like, I would train.
So, like, you're a full-time athlete.
All the fucking
with
time,
no
bro.
money.
Yes, 100%. So GPC was that first state. Then I had the 2014 April was my first competition as a strongman. I then did GPA Worlds as a junior in 2014 August, where I squatted 275, 162, and deadlifted 300.
Do you know where you came in?
Sorry, that's Capo Nationals. I came second at Capo Nationals, I believe, that year. Then I did my first Pro Raw, I believe, in September 14th. So I started competing hard. Yeah. I did GPA Worlds, where I came third from memory and squatted my first 300.
Is GPA associated with anything now?
Capo, yeah. Okay. So that was November 2014.
So in a few months you went to your first Worlds?
Yeah, so in juniors, because I would have been like 21, 22.
Still?
Yeah, so I went first novice, sanctioned comp, nationals capo, pro raw September, and then worlds GPA.
Right.
And then opened a gym.
And then opened a gym. Then the qualifier was the 15th of Feb, which was the first qualifier for the Arnolds. And then the first ASM, or the first... then it was Southern Hemisphere Strongest Man as the South African guys came over. That was the first Arnold's, which was 2015. I came third at that Arnold's.
Is that in the 105s?
In the 105s. Okay. So I came third at the Arnold's. It's the only time that someone's beaten me from Australia. Rory Knight Sadler was very good and probably would have been the best 105 that the country's seen. This is why I'm so fucking adamant about the tacky. I was in front. I put my tacky on super early. It's my first expo show. It's the hot lights. I went to the first stone and all my tacky just slid off my arm. On my best event, I lost. And that's why I tell people not to fucking put tacky on early. And I still see people fuck it up all the time. Then Vic Strongest Man was like November 2015, which was like the year that Colin Wolf and stuff like that did ASM in Bendigo and pulled the tram. Then I won Arnold's and Southern Hemisphere Strongest Man under 105 in 2016 in March.
And then ASM.
And then I did ASM. So then in Melbourne Fitness Expo and stuff, that got me the invite to ASM. And then I came second at ASM behind Rongo that year, I believe. Yeah. So I came second behind Rongo and beat Travis Wick.
Okay.
So it was Rongo, me, Travis Wick.
And then 2017?
Yeah.
That would have been Eddie's first one?
2017, yeah. So I went to Arnold's that year. Okay. I bombed. That was my first international comp. When I say bombed, I came 14th or something like that.
That was your first international?
Yeah. So
walk us through that.
So 2017 was my first international comp.
So where was it? How were the flights? Like
Arnold's,
tips?
Ohio.
Okay.
You can see the really shit vlog from ages ago. I think I put one vlog post up in like what I'm reading and all that sort of stuff on YouTube. I always laughing. Have you seen it?
No, but I'm definitely going to find it.
Yeah, I'll watch it after this too.
I'm a fucking baby, bro. Yuri Chadlick, who had beat me the year before at that Arnold's from overseas. He was like an international. So didn't qualify for the Southern Hemisphere thing. But like he had beat me the year before and I was adamant that I was better than him. Not better than him, but I could beat him, right? He was beatable, right? But he was the fucking man, right, in the 105s. He made it to finals at Arnold's, Ohio. I dropped the yoke and dropped a fucking heaps of points, and I also had a hard time with the chrome axle.
Okay.
Then we came back. So a fortnight later, we had Arnold's Australia. I got super fucking sick, and I beat Yuri at Arnold's Australia to take it outright. So 2 weeks later, so I was stoked because he made the finals. Kevin Ferris won the Arnold's 105 cool. that year. Yeah, and then went on to do ASM. That was the year Brian Shaw and stuff was here, which was sick. Oh, wow. First international competition was good. What made me do it? I knew that I wanted to be the best in the world.
Okay.
Like I've just always been like I was like, I'm going to do it. Like,
just like the chin-ups.
Just belief. I honestly, like, naive belief or not, like, I just felt like if I fucking put my mind to it, I can be the best 105 in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can do that.
How did you pay for all this? Because you've opened a gym, you're losing money. How have you flown over to America?
I think I had a sponsor. I think I had 2 sponsors maybe for Arnold. McCurdy Concrete was definitely one of them. I trained him and his kids and his wife. Still a member now. Great mate, like ripping fucking guy. He was like member. He'd followed me over from LeisureLink, like ripping dude. Also helped us out with some of our signage and stuff, some of the install in the gym. I think he gave me like $1,000 to help for my flights and stuff.
Nice.
I was doing some PTs for cash. I had moved when we started the gym. I moved home for a while because I couldn't. Like I was living on a credit card because I wasn't making money.
Yep.
People don't like. Probably for the first 4 years, I made maybe $100 to $200 from the gym a week. Like that's literally it. If not nothing. If not, I was putting money into it. Do you know what I mean? So most of it was just like cash programs, cash PT.
So was competing then your way of sort of getting your name out there?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That was like competing was me trying to like do that. And like, you know, you say like wasn't making money. Like I was still doing maybe like by then I was doing 10, 15, 20 PTs at $50 an hour kind of stuff, cash. Like still making like enough money for a single guy with nothing to fucking do. Do you know what I mean? Like one, living expenses weren't that much then. You know what I mean? But like 2, living in a share house, do you know what I mean? You're paying a couple $100 in rent. Like you got to pay for food. I had to pay for fuck all else. Do you know what I mean? Like expenses aren't that much.
Yeah. Was there prize money for Arnold's or?
I'm sure there was, but I didn't get any. For like here?
Yeah, these ones or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't think so. First international comp was like, and that was both motivating and disheartening. Like I went over there and I was really disappointed because I had high expectations. I thought I could make like at least finals, which was top 4, which is rough at Arnold.
Hard, yeah.
Yeah, because that was the comp then. There was no like
that was like the world's title.
There was SCL and Arnold's Ohio. That was it, right? Yeah. Like they were the 2 world federations.
Do you have tips for your first international comp? So like some people like go over like the day before the comp and they get thrown off, or
I mean like I would give to anybody, like get there a little bit early. You don't have to make weight, so it's not too bad, but have enough time to adjust to a time zone, allow for travel fatigue. Do you know what I mean? Like, make sure you can find some good food so you can get some regular food and stuff like that in there. There's like good quality food, so you find a place to eat. Do you know what I mean? Like, really simple stuff. Make sure you got your equipment. Make sure you give yourself enough time to land if they do fuck up your bags to get your shit. You know what I mean? Like I usually say 3 or 4 days beforehand, depending. For example, like when I competed in India, I flew a little bit closer because I wanted to eat my normal food and I knew I wouldn't have as much control. I wasn't confident in like the food options there, you know? So it just kind of depends, right? Like on where you're going and what your expectation is and if you have to make weight and all that sort of stuff. But I think the key thing is just get there and have enough time to settle in. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then do the thing. Yeah. On the way back, who gives a fuck? My also one is like pay the extra $200 to have one transfer. Like one stop. Don't be a cheap cunt and get 4 fucking... yeah. But like, if you can afford to, or if you can manage to, man, I said that like by the time I turn 30 in business, I'm gonna be well enough because I used to follow Seb, fly around the world in fucking business and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna be flying business. I'm like, there's no way I justify flying business now. Like, I've got 2 other people to feed, but like, I will pay the extra $200 to go 1 stop instead of 2 stops. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially there, that makes a fucking difference.
Especially when you don't fit in the seats anymore.
Yeah, that as well. And then I was pretty much like by 2017, I'd pulled 350. Do you know what I mean? Like I was pulling like maybe 800 pounds. I pulled at Winterfest.
You're legit one of the best in the world at that point.
Yeah. So by then, like 2017, 2018, that's when I was like podium on Ultimate Strongman. I'd podiumed OSG in 2018. I podiumed and then won SCL.
So about 3-4 years from your first novice comp.
Yeah,
you were like legit.
So 2014 was my first comp. By 2018, I'd been on most podiums.
Yeah. So were you coaching yourself during this time or the whole time?
Most of it.
Do you want to like shout out any?
Yeah.
Coaches that had some good
Jamie
influence?
Bissett was my first coach.
Yeah.
So he did like a lot of my powerlifting stuff for the most part. Yeah. I had Josh Thigpen, who I got to meet in China and compete against, which was very cool. He was the writer of the Cube Method for Strongman. If you haven't seen this, he's a World's Strongest Man competitor. Do you know him? Nah. Josh Thigpen, OG WSM competitor, very athletic WSM competitor. He wrote a bunch of books. He's got like Cube Method for Strongman. He's got a bunch of different Cube methods and stuff like that. Books, which are quite good. I had read Cube. I'd used Cube. I have used Cube with clients previously. I like the nature of it in terms of like rotational intensities. Basically, you have like a rep, dynamic effort, and max effort day, right, over a 3-week period. Same as Cube Method by Brandon Lilly, where you have like you alternate the intensities kind of stuff. A little bit similar. Big focus on like athleticism and stuff. I don't use it now, but I do like elements of it. I think it's still got some validity. So I had him coach me, and then Josh Bryant, who is Jailhouse Strong. Yeah. So he was Jamie's coach. So a lot of Jamie's training influences came from that. So I went straight to the man when I wanted to do OSG, and he coached me for OSG. I did the programming side of stuff for OSG, which I thought was quite good. Different, but good. I like Josh's programming. No bullshit. Hard work, but like good.
So that pretty much covers all the domestic stuff. We started the international. Yeah. But your quest to be the best in the world. Mm-hmm. So you went to Ultimate Strongman World Champions 3 times?
Arnold's was my first. Golly. Finland was my second, SCL. Yeah. Made it to finals, top 10. I came 6th. Gary Biceps beat me for 5th. Tough one. Yeah, tough one. SCL, good. Not my best fucking events. Like 2 overheads is never a good weekend for me, you know. Like zeroed like the Viking press and stuff. So it was a tough one, but I'm glad I went. Did well on the silver dollar deadlift and stuff. Jaden Hill from New Zealand actually won that year, which was great. Okay. It was very, very impressive. And then faded to obscurity. I don't know what he's doing now. Anyway, so SCL was my second. Made top 10, met a bunch of great guys, enjoyed it. And then, I think it would have been, like I did China in the Opens and came 5th. Okay. I think that would have been maybe my next one. China was an interesting one. My car broke down about 3 weeks beforehand and I had no money and they told me it was going to be $3,000 to fix. So I went to China and won $5,000, which was great.
Perfect.
So I came, I think, 5th there. It was best prize money that I've won in a strongman comp. It was one of the most amazing experiences competing. Josh Pataka went not too long ago.
I think Mac was telling me about this one.
Yeah, Mac went. Honestly, it was mind-blowing.
They got there and they had like the Olympic rings on the wall.
Yeah.
So like they told the locals like the Olympics is here.
We were followed around. Like we had crowds following us, people leaving their stores. Like I met a bunch of really fucking great guys.
Mac was kissing some pregnant lady stomachs and stuff. Like,
I bumped a cigarette off like a 12-year-old. Following us around. Like it was just wild. I went to a beer festival. They escorted us with like AK-47s in there. The promoters like the day before the comp. He's like, you want beer? You want cigarettes? What do you want? What do you need? We're like, no, we're going to compete tomorrow, man. Fun. And got us up on stage. Went to a scull of beer on stage in front of like thousands of people. It was pretty wild. It's honestly one of the most wild experiences I've had as a competitor, which is so like, I'm really appreciative of a sport that like I've had a lot of opportunities that most people won't get. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then I think after that would have been the ultimate strongmans. So then I went to like Czech Republic. I went over there for 5 weeks, lived with Yuri, did a couple comps over there.
Oh, okay.
So I trained over there in his gym. We did the World Grand Prix, I did the World Deadlift Championships, the Team Championships, and Ultimate Strongman, World's Strongest Man 105.
You came third?
Came third, yes, there. Great comp. Yeah. And like Marius who won and Premislav who came second, mind blow. Like,
so you weren't mad that you came third? Like,
it's probably actually, I think the first OSG was maybe first actually. I think I did OSG first and came third, I believe. I took a break after SEL, like the SEL in Europe. I took maybe 9 months off, 10 months off, 12 months off.
Focus on work or?
Focus on work, business, and just like take some time off. Natty, like for a while. I did some trail running. I ran a half marathon through the mountains. I just did a bunch of hiking. And then came back, and it was so interesting because I like Sam Surfton talking about like who's going to win what events and stuff like that. And then I came out and pulled 385 and
shut them all up.
Yeah, basically. And I think I won all the events and then didn't have to do stones because my bicep was a bit niggly, and still won. And then I went to OSG, came third. And then did some other stuff, and then won another Australian title after that. So came back, won another Australian title, I believe, and then went to Europe and did those comps. Favorite comps that I've ever done. Great crowds, really good treatment, really competitive group of guys. 30 guys. The European circuit, like, it's just so different. The Americans and the Europeans, like, there's just strong guys everywhere that you don't know, But so interesting, really good experience. And then came back from there. Then I did probably some, like, local comps, maybe another Australian title. And then I went to India.
Mission complete.
Did SEL, won SEL, which I came sixth at previously. So came sixth there. So won that, which was fantastic. And then I went and hiked for a month and did a.
So you won Worlds, then went for a hike.
And then I went to the Himalayas. So because I was in India, I was like, I'll fly to the Himalayas and do a hike. So I did a hike for 25 days out in the bush, which was sick, with a little Nepalese guide, and then came back. And then COVID hit. That was it.
Right.
It was like I felt like I was hitting a groove, and I was like, this is like, I feel fucking strong. I'm like, sweet. And then then COVID hit, and that was it. And
so if COVID didn't happen, would you have kept going back to international comps? And
I would have. I felt like I sort of planned on that being me going hard for a bit. It was kind of my plan. So, and then I came back, and not long after that, I think it was like my 28th birthday, COVID hit. We got on lockdown and stuff like that. And then it was, then like the gym was shut down. We then moved gyms, and then we were open for a month, and then we closed down again. And then we finally I got a break where I did the heavyweights at Compound with Mace, which was fun. It was like a 455 yoke, silver dollar deadlift. That was when I pulled 390. The gym was open for a month and something like that. And then we got shut down again, I think. And then it was like kind of it. And then until we were sort of back up. So
do you have future plans to ever get back to that level, or your focus is like shifted?
It's such an interesting one, right? Because I'm getting that question a lot, and I'm asking myself that question a lot.
Because you're good enough.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because I say, like, do I plan on getting back to that level? It's not like that I haven't tried. It's an interesting one because, like, last year, for example, before I went to Germany, I actually probably felt that I was maybe the strongest that I had been. Like, I was feeling really good. I hit that double on the 180 stone. Like, LDS, I hit the 160 log. Like, my deadlift was moving really well again. I'd picked up the frame the first time at like 320 and ran it, no worries. Like, I just felt like everything was like
clicking again.
This is all effortless.
Yeah.
Like everything feels as it should. I then did a facet joint, and then I tore my pec on a warm up in LDS, and it was just very confusing to me because like everything felt great, and I'd felt great all prep. And then so that was obviously that I couldn't train for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I had Germany, and I had 1 week to train for Germany, and then went over and like despite maybe coming third or whatever, an ultimate strongman again, my performance was not representative of my brand of strongman. Do you know what I mean? So like the placing's fine, but like look, if it didn't change the placing, it wouldn't bother me at all. Do you know what I mean? But to go in and not do or execute how you want to be executing is disappointing. You know, and it's just like it's not disheartening, but it's just like frustrating because like, I don't want to do the thing poorly, because I know what it feels like to do it well. Yeah. You know, like if I pick up the trumpet now, it's depressing. I was good at it. Yeah. So to go do something that you were good at and not be good at it is depressing. So it's like, I think at this point I just kind of need to, there's lots of talk. I like talk about it and I like make jokes about like retiring and stuff, but I don't know anything else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and strength, I go, what would I tell my client? And I say, what I would tell my client is strength sports are a lifetime pursuit. Yeah. You know, like you'll hit your head against a brick wall. And I've been very fortunate because I had fucking 8 years of relatively pain-free, injury-free, absolute physical abuse. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I did 50 comps in that time. Do you know what I mean? And like crazy. In a relatively short time, I was doing it. The last year, the year that I did SCL Worlds, that was the end. India was my 12th comp, and in that 12 months, I'd also run a half marathon and done 2 adventure races.
Wow.
And 12 strength and 12 strength comps.
Yeah.
Powerlifting, I totaled 870. I did heaps, right? So like I was 12 months I'll just go fucking hard and stuff like that, and I was doing heaps of comps and stuff, and like now I don't know. We were talking about this in the last podcast. Like I don't really know how to do it if the dial's on at 11. But I don't think my body can do it as frequently with my dial turned to 11 now. Yeah. But I'm not too sure. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like, as you said before, like from the age of 3, all you know is the 11th dial.
Yeah, 11 out of 10, bro.
All in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's how I like doing it. Like that's how I enjoy it. Like I also feel
maybe it's time. It's like you have to.
Yeah, maybe, but like maybe not. Like I genuinely feel like I'll be like I'm going to take a break. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to try and create a bit more space. But I genuinely feel like work, business, family life, training, everything goes better when I've got the purpose, when I've got to get it all done, drive, when I've got to like tick the boxes. And when I'm ticking all the boxes, like I'm a happier person. Like I'm a fulfilled person. I feel like I'm nailing everything. Do you know what I mean? Like when I've got to fucking like have it all lined up, it's great. When I slow down, that's when like I'm like I get a bit slower, like I feel a little bit shitter. Do you know what I mean? Like
the drive goes down.
When it's all you know and it's all you've been wired to do. And trust me, I've tried to unwire it. Like I used to go to fucking Buddhist temple in my 20s. Do you know what I mean? Like I like tried mindfulness. I did a bunch of stuff to try and like learn how to like relax. And I was like,
it's just in your DNA.
I'm most relaxed. Like, do you know what's relaxing to me? Like going for a hike for 3 days. And hiking for all day. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm doing something, but it's like I'm outside. Like I'm taking a break, and that's grounding for me. Yeah. Or like it's like going out. Like when I was in my early 20s, it was like me relaxing was like going out and like burning the candle at the other end. Like not fucking great, but like that was my relaxation. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of all I know. So I don't know whether I need to or whether I just need to figure out a couple pieces of the puzzle to make sure that like I can keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know how it looks, but I just don't think that I'll be not doing it. Something, you know? Yeah.
So before we move on from like the competition career, what's your most memorable moment? Is it the win or is it something else that stands out?
No, that's not SCL Worlds. I really enjoyed, my favorite competition was Grand Prix in Czech Republic because I just felt like I fucking nailed it. Like I came third. The World Grand Prix. Both guys are really good. I think Yuri was right at the top there. But I felt like I really nailed it. But my first like outright Arnold's win was probably the other one. Okay. Like where I vindicated. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I felt like I'd bombed the US.
So it made it a bit sweeter.
Yeah, 100%. Like, because I felt like I bombed US, and I felt like a bit down about that, and I had a lot of determination, and like you have a home crowd, and like I had, everyone from the gym there like counting the reps for me and stuff like that, and I came from behind, so I was like points behind. I wasn't winning, and the last 3 events, like I tore my fucking hands on the frame, so I taped up my hands. On the last 3 events, I just
You're on a mission.
I climbed back to hunt. Do you know what I mean? And took out the win, and that was, and Yuri had been in the finals. He came top 4 at the Arnolds, and I'd fucking bombed it. And then I came on top. Do you know what I mean? And beat him. And that was very satisfying. I'd say that was probably my most satisfying, like, winning moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we'll move on to like more of the business side of stuff. So you've gone through like your careers and like how you started and all that. But before this location, can you talk about the other gym that you had and like how that ownership was? And
started at, would have been 21 setting it up. So I was 22. Do you know what I mean? So I was 22 years old when we started that gym.
By yourself?
No. So I had a business partner, Jamie. Went to school together. Okay. We like were in year 12 PE together and stuff like that. I was a gym manager at Underling. We were both gym instructors within the same Geelong City Council. He just worked at a different centre, right?
Yeah.
Gym guy. We were both like the gym guys at school.
Yeah.
He just had fucking monstrous traps and looked so like unnatty as like an 18-year-old, but was completely nutty and obsessed as well. Yeah. Like we both frothed, right? Yeah. Like we were both like right into it, full bro. And we basically were working in the same jobs. So he had ended up getting, or was going for a promotion into the same job as I was at the other centre.
Okay.
We were training in his home gym. And we were like hanging out with another friend afterwards, and we're like, well, what are you going to do if you don't get the job? And we were sort of joking. And we're like, oh, we'll start a gym, blah, blah, blah. We joked about it being called like Aesthetic Palace of the Gods. You like that. And then basically, it was a joke. He got the job in the end, and it was a joke until it wasn't a joke. It was a joke until like, I got a personal loan. I sold a motorbike. I was working my full-time job and like concreting on the Mondays and working hospitalities during the weekends, saving some money and stuff like that. And we sort of had the finance. I had the finance to be able to put in for it. So we found a warehouse, and then we were buying equipment, and then we were fucking setting up a gym. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just escalated pretty quickly.
So it's just you two?
Yeah, just us two. Yeah, we probably started with maybe 80 grand, and we sold maybe 15, 16 lifetime memberships for $1,000 each. So our total first investment was 96 grand-ish. And if you look at that gym, there wasn't much in it. Like the first gym, but it was it was great. Like I love that gym. Like, and as we progressed, and if you saw it like from start to when we left, you can see that like it was constantly like we'd had a rack, we'd had deadlift platforms, then we had 4 deadlift platforms, and we had more strongman equipment. Then it was completely different by the time we left, or by the time I left that space. But and because we're constantly investing in it, but God, it got fucking tight in there. But the best way that I've heard someone basically refer to that gym. I wonder if I've got it somewhere. But it was basically, someone asked me what it was like at the old Strong Geelong, and he said, imagine a long concrete tunnel with giant cunts yelling at each other, lifting enormous weights while listening to orchestra. That's what old Strong Geelong was. We used to have like 2 Steps from Hell playing all the fucking time, like, and it was so tight. Everyone was on top of each other. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like it was a different atmosphere, and despite trying your best to try and foster the same community or like same atmosphere in a bigger space, there's no substitute for like that smaller space. Do you know what I mean? But we also made no fucking money, and it would have gone under. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like 4 years in, 5 years in, if we were still COVID renting another space from someone, the gym wouldn't have survived. You know what I mean? Like it was just surviving as it was, and it wouldn't have been a long-term job option, you know?
So you mentioned the other day that they wanted to leave and like cash in? Or?
Yeah, so Jamie wanted to sell.
Yeah.
He was sort of done, which is fair enough. Like he went into a gym hoping to be a gym owner, not like a trainer still. And to make money, we were gym owners that had to work train and take sessions and write programs and stuff. So he wanted to sell. He had other projects that were making more money, or were going to go on to make more money. So he wanted to sell. I said, sure, great, let's sell. I was out. Cool. Had a couple offers. Problem was, 2 of the offers that we had were relying on me staying and managing. Do you know what I mean? I was like, well, I'm not going to manage the place that I don't own. I just that's not what I'm in here for. So in the end, it was actually before I went to Finland to compete. 2 or 3 years, hadn't made money. If we wanted to go compete somewhere else, we had to pay out of our own pocket to get our shifts covered because the gym couldn't pay for it. Okay. So, if I went over to Finland for 2 weeks, I'd have to cover my shifts out of my own pocket or try to get sponsorship to pay someone to do my shifts because the gym wouldn't, right? Okay. So, that's you can't have holidays because a holiday wouldn't cost me $1,000 of lost income. It cost me $1,000 of lost income plus $1,000 of me paying for someone to work my shifts, right? Because it was staffed. Yeah, it wasn't 24/7 and stuff. So, fair enough. And then I actually had one of my clients who now is part owner or silent owner of the gym, Steve Hull, who runs another couple businesses, basically approach me and say, if you're interested, no pressure, but if you're interested, I'm interested in, you've got a good thing. You could have your cake and eat it too. You will be able to travel and do your comps and stuff like that. You just need a little bit of help, kicking this thing along, right? Or maybe a bit better guidance, right? Okay. And then I basically wasn't interested. And then I was like, I'm out. I'm exhausted. It's been 3.5 years, no fucking money and no breaks. You know what I mean? No holidays. I can just go get a job. Our accountant told us every time, you guys have good contacts. This isn't doing it. You can go get a 6-figure income somewhere and make some money. Do you know what I mean? We can help set you up. You guys are intelligent lads. Go do that. And I went away, did the competition in Finland, took a week off afterwards for the first time, and came back and was like, I fucking love this gym. I started this gym. This is my fucking home, and it's home to everybody else. So I said to Steve, I want to have a chat. And he was like, yeah, cool. It wasn't money, wasn't anything else. It was just didn't think you were keen. Didn't seem like you were keen. If you want to, happy to go. Let's do it. I'll sort it out now. So he brought out Jamie and then basically said, go for your life. Do your thing. I think with a partnership, it's hard when someone is already out and you're still in because there was probably a period of time where I just felt like it wasn't happening together. Do you know what I mean? We weren't doing the thing, and I felt like there was things that we wanted to be able to do, but we couldn't do it. So when he was bought out, even though Steve was a silent partner, it just probably gave me a little bit more motivation. If anything, it just gave me more motivation. Okay, cool. The bottom line is
you're the driver now.
The bottom line is purely indicative of my effort and my input, right? And when that happened, if you talk to some of the members, I was here the 24/7. I painted the gym. I cleaned out the fucking out. Do you know what I mean? Just worked really hard to create a bit of a difference. We invested a bit more money with Steve. We went half, bought some more equipment and stuff. We went 24/7, which alleviated some of my time, which was nice too. Made it more staffable as well, so we could actually pay people, trade some of our PTs. So that was the big instigator, and we saw basically 100% growth over the next 12 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, let's say, I can't remember the figures, but let's say if the gym was making it would have been $1,500, $800 a week. We're just chewed up by rent, electricity. Yeah, that's basically gone, you know. We were sort of by the time we left, we were sort of making maybe close to $3,000. Do you know what I mean? A week. Do you know what I mean? And then we moved here. So then it was basically, it was a fantastic opportunity, which I'm very fortunate in one way. And then also I'm reminded often that you work for what you get and you create your opportunities. See, basically, I've never saved $1 in my fucking life. Never. And Steve came to me and said, we need to get out of the rental situation. We want to be able to own the building and do what we want with the building. Yeah. And he said, we'll start looking. You'll have 6 to 9 months to save some money. You'll go 50% in. We'll own it 50-50 in a trust and stuff like that. And the gym can pay the rent and whatever else, right? So originally we looked at a 400, 500 square meter building. That was what I had budgeted for. That's what I was saving for. I was putting money away and I was doing quite well. It was the first time I had to save for anything. So I was like, all right, buckle down, work my ass off, right? Which I was not averse to at all. It's opportunity. I'm like, well, that's It's the same thing when you get an opportunity for a comp. It's like, that's when you fucking go hard.
go
Yes, you know, like, fuck yeah, let's go. Easy to save, right? Anyway, so, and then he finds this place and he goes, I think I found the warehouse. And I walked in here and I went, fuck. I didn't sleep for 24 hours. Like, it's 800 square meters.
Yeah.
The rent that it was advertised for was like 100 grand or 85 or 90 grand. And I was currently paying 30 grand a year in my current warehouse, making 3 grand a week. And I was like, this one. Yeah. And he was like, yeah. And obviously the deposit was like fucking
massive.
Way more than like what I. So anyways, saved more money, went to the auction, bought this warehouse, didn't sleep for 24 hours, came to Steve after the 24 hours, told him exactly how we can make the difference in the money, rent-wise to be able to pay off the mortgage and stuff like that. I said, we need to put 3 rooms in. That's how many members we'll need. We need to do this, we need to do this. This is how we can make the difference up.
So how do you go from that idea to what it is now?
A lot of work.
Okay.
That's it.
Were there any like surprises along the way? Or, like,
yeah, heaps.
Things that worked, things that didn't work.
Yeah. So I mean, like, COVID hits, we get locked down. You know what I mean? Like, we were very fortunate. The fucking saving grace was to make the difference in the rent. We put the 3 rooms in and invested the extra money to put the 3 rooms in and build the extra rooms so we could have a allied health provider. Yeah. We offered it to our current allied health, which was Modus, so Jack, to rent out all 3 rooms on a subcontract, right? Because he was allied health, he could still operate. Beautiful. Which subsidised our mortgage payments in the period of time. Because we were in the first 2 years, we were in a fixed low variable, like fixed rate for the first 2 years, which was low at that time. So it was like a fucking saving grace. Because if I was in, and then we got like JobKeeper and stuff to help pitch in, right? Because if I was in that warehouse there paying that rent and we had no other way or no one operating, that would have been us. Like we would have been in so much fucking debt. Do you know what I mean? Unless we had like rent assistance or something. So, and like we would have racked up the debt weekly, you know what I mean, while closed, and then would have had to pay it back. And that would have been, we would never have made it back with the money we were making, you know? So, yeah, look, we built that. We basically, I said, like, we got 4 weeks or 5 weeks to build that, set up the whole gym, put the floors in. The whole community came, helped us move in the gym and stuff like that, moved everything across. That was fantastic. We had the car in here. We had the power stairs. It was like never been a strongman, like, you know, probably never as cool strongman gym in Australia at that point. Coco's are the same size. Yeah. But at that point, like, you know, I had my fucking Harley in here. We had the Jeep sitting on the car deadlift. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we'd have member events and like we'd sit there on the fucking Chesterfields and smoke cigarettes and drink beers and like it was sick. Yeah. And then we as we progressed, it was like, okay, cool, things tighten up. We get a few members and stuff and progress that. And then we put the mezzanine in. So it was like, okay, cool, like it's getting busier. But probably the biggest thing we had, so big one, after the 3 years, Allied Health left. Okay. Which we had interest rates come up. So we went from like, let's say $3,500 a month or something like that to over $8,000 a month in mortgage like in rent. So it doubled.
Quick, yeah.
Plus like overnight. Because it was 2 years or 3 years, we had that like locked interest rate.
Straight
After
up.
3 years, Jack left. Then our mortgage went fucking through the roof. Then the interest rate started climbing. So then we were at like a $5,000 a month deficit, right? Plus he'd left. So that's even more again, right? So that put us like in a bit of a sticky situation because we had like a big difference. And the income wasn't coming up. We had the same amount of members or we had similar members. We had some PTs drop off, member growth. But like as inflation happens and as prices increase and all that sort of stuff, we just ran into a position where like our income or our actual income weekly was not coming up, but our expenses were just continually rising. And we were suddenly in a position where we were like not even breaking even, like we were underneath. Do you know what I mean?
So what changed from there?
So the big thing, the instigator was, okay, cool. We're like, it's business, right? Sometimes to make more money, you got to spend more money. Put the mezzanine in, put some more machine stuff in, broaden the appeal, create broader appeal, be able to be more marketable, right, to other people. We saw an increase in membership pretty quickly.
Was it more like Gen Pop and bodybuilders who started coming?
Yeah,
more
a bit,
direct
right?
correlation.
And also the idea that like strength, you're only going to be able to get so many strength athletes through the door.
Yeah. Still
at the end of the day, you have to create strength athletes. Okay. People don't know that they want to buy an iPhone until you get them off their Nokia and go like, this is so much better. Or like their Android, right? And you go, well, like, you know, you have to give them a little bit of like what they know and what they feel comfortable with and show them a gym that like makes them like, oh yeah, this is a gym. Yeah. If you come into a gym that's just platforms, squat racks, calibrated plates, strongman stuff, and a little bit of like dumbbells, it's like, oh, do you have a treadmill? Do you have a bike? Do you have a leg? Like, do you have this machine? Do you have this machine? No, we don't. Like, if you want to run, go run outside. Which is fine, but like, you know, we're in a position where we've created a lot of fantastic, or probably the best, you know, like strength athletes in the country, right? Most of the best ones.
For sure, yeah.
Right? A lot of them didn't start the best, right? Or a lot of them didn't even start in the strongman.
They didn't come in to
They didn't come to the gym in strongman, do you know what I mean? Like maybe with an interest in strength sports, but you also have to create them. Like a lot of people who walk through our door, like they might do bodybuilding, they might come from CrossFit, they might come from something else. Maybe they've come to try strongman or something else. Or maybe they just come to train and they have a bit of inclination towards strength stuff. And they maybe play with a log, and they maybe play with farmers, and then maybe they start competing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you also want to be able to attract people to create athletes because it takes time. Like we're 10 years old now, but there was no strength athletes in Geelong. That's a lie. Great strength athletes in Geelong, but not many. Do you know what I mean? Not the best fucking strength athletes or strongman athletes in the country in fucking half the classes. Do you know what I mean? Like not fucking killers in powerlifting and stuff like that because we didn't have the same community or the same gym. We didn't have a gym. Do you know? So to create that, you have to create those athletes. And that takes time to develop athletes too. You know, like Jordan walks to the door, right? And then he's ASM in 2 or 3 years, right? Does his first novice comp as part of the gym and coached by one of the coaches, you know? He didn't come through the door Australia's strongest man. Do you know what I mean? But like
he came in pretty damn strong.
Yeah, he's athletic, right? Yeah. Athletic, like a really good base of athleticism. But I think that was a big thing, like putting the mezzanine in, and then just from a business perspective, even in the last like probably 12 months, because we stagnated again. Prices rising, things getting more expensive, bigger gym, more outlays, etc., etc. Staffing costs coming up and stuff like that. Everything comes up. Everything fucking comes up, and you always just kind of fucking hit this ceiling. And it was growing. Like, pardon?
You got to keep growing.
You got to keep growing. Like you have to keep advancing or keep like fine tuning things. That's where we added the PT, the programming, the recovery rooms to try and find different avenues to create revenue. Because otherwise, like we'll
keep improving the product.
Yeah, keep improving the product or create. You know what? Keep improving or keep finding ways to create value. And then if you create value, you can get compensated through financial means, and then you can create a business. Do you know what I mean? Like it's about the thing with business is like you're solving a problem. Same thing that we talked about with the reels and stuff like that, or like coaching. It's like, what is your client's problem? Like, what do they need solved? So when someone walks to the door of Strong Geelong, what do they need solved? Like, I'm unhealthy, I'm unfit, I'm not strong, I don't feel capable, I need to lose weight or whatever. Well, where does that stem from? I'm insecure about it, I'm going, whatever that comes from, right? Yeah. On the next level, peel it back a layer, peel it back a layer, peel it back a layer. Like, what do you need? And most of the time it's like, well, we need support, we need to learn how to like train, we need to learn how to eat properly or whatever it looks like, or I want to be the fucking best. Okay, cool. What is the problem then? If you want to be the best, what problems do you need solved? We need to learn how to do the thing. You need coaching, or you need a good fucking coach to help guide you, right? Until you can do it yourself. You need a good environment to do it. Okay, so we need recovery facilities for some of our better athletes. Like what are our current athletes or current members needing? How can we improve the experience and create more value for them? And then also for the people walking through the door, what do majority of the people walking through the door need? What are their problems? And how can we solve their problems? They just need guidance.
For everyone.
100%, because strength is for everybody. There is an epidemic of fast fitness, right? So you've got group fitness, challenges, blah, 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 this, that. There's so many. Yeah. We have an epidemic of fast fixes and fast fitness, which is fine if it gets people through the door to make a change. But do you know what the underpinning thing to all fast fitness is? Strength and conditioning.
Sure, yeah.
Hinge, squat, press, pull, cardiovascular element. That's the fucking element.
Hit that over and over again.
You just do that over and over again, right? So any fast fitness, any novel way to exercise, the underpinning element of that is strength and conditioning. It is get stronger, get fitter, get faster, eat well.
Yeah.
And you'll reach most of your goals. You just have to tweak the formula a little bit, right? But in an epidemic like that, like strength and conditioning is for everyone. It's for a 60-year-old lady. It's for a 20, like strongman, like ASM's not for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but even then, if you pull it back from there, we're doing the same thing. We're
farmers carries for everybody.
Yeah.
Farmers carries for everybody, just at a different level. I'd get fucking 60-year-old Janet doing fucking farmers carry, man. Yeah. She might just be using 16-kilo kettlebells. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the rawest level, at the scalable level, right? Like fitness and strength conditioning is for everybody, right? So, and it's cool that like Janet, who I'm talking about, whoever she is, can come and train with like an ASM. Like we got Jordan in here fucking pulling 400. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like we got some of the best athletes in here, but we can have that as well as everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Which creates a cool dynamic. There's pros and cons. Like, yeah, I'd like to have fucking Westside Barbell. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd like to sit here and coach 5 to 8. Watch the boys fucking get after it and like sit here on a chair and coach everybody. And do you know what I mean? Like I'd love to do that, but it's not reality. Yeah. Like it's not like I don't work on the gym too much because I'm a full-time coach because that's where I still make my money. Like I'm still making my money through coaching. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that covers most things. So I'm going to round it up with 2 questions.
Yep.
If you were to go back to 20-year-old Tyson, what would you change?
Not a thing.
Not a thing?
Made some dumb choices.
Would you change any of those choices though?
No, because I wouldn't be here where I am. Like I'm very fortunate. Like I don't ever pretend to be some fucking saint. Like I have not lived a saintly life. You know what I mean? Like I don't pretend to be. Like I've always tried to be a good person. I've always tried to tread that path and I failed a lot, you know? But I wouldn't be the person who I am. I wouldn't have the insights that I have. Like I feel like at 30 years old, 33 years old, like I've lived a pretty comprehensive life. I've had a lot of experiences that other people haven't, good and bad. And I've learned a lot. And I feel like because of that, I'm a good teacher. I've got a lot of wisdom to give. I have learned a lot around humans and coaching. And they've given me the tools to be, and given me like the freedom to be the best at the jobs that I'm probably the happiest being, which is husband and dad, right? Like those experiences, those fuck ups, those things where I've fallen short of being like the man or the person that I want to be, they've given me the ability to understand who I want to be, who I idealize want to be as a coach, as a business owner, as a father, and as a husband. And they've allowed me to actually become that person, you know? Like right now, I feel like to date, I feel like I've fallen short a lot. But like now, like those experiences and those fuck ups and those decisions that maybe I would regret or maybe I wish I could change, I wouldn't change for the world because otherwise I wouldn't be the person that I am today in the position that I am in today, right? So kind of like a cliche thing. It's like I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't be like, I'm sure like, fuck, if you put me back in that moment, like I might change, like choose a different, like I wouldn't pick up that pill in home house when I was 20 years old. I can tell you that much because I was in bed for 3 days. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there's some dumb fucking shit where like, it's like, well, there's definitely some things that I would change, but you know what? Like overall, no, there's like, I wouldn't change much or anything for the world because like, otherwise I wouldn't have the tools that I have now in my bag to be able to do the things that I do.
That's good. And then just to round it all off, 3 tips for anyone looking to get into coaching, gym owners. Just 3 quick tips.
My number 1 tip is not like a tip, but like an expectation is don't expect like gym ownership's a dream, right? Like it's a dream for so many people. Be aware that you're buying into a job that is quite consuming, right? To make a gym work, I actually don't think it's that hard to make a gym work. I think it needs the right person. I think you need to create an environment and a culture, but I think you need to like play the music loud, put some fucking good stuff and just be the cool place to be, right? I don't think it's that hard. But to foster a community, you need to be all in on that community. You need to believe in that product, right? So number 1 tip is like believe in what you want to do and invest all in on the thing that you want to do, right? In terms of coaching, be aware that it's a long slog. Right. My first and number 1 tip is like to build and establish a coaching business. We didn't talk that much about the Strongman Way, but like it's all kind of encompassed, right, and everything. 100%. It's like natural progression, gym, programming and stuff like that came up, coaching and stuff came up, and that all sort of tied in with each other. But coaching takes a long time. Right, like it takes a long time to build up. I've talked to Lee about this. Lee's a great one to talk about. When I put Lee on, it took him years of like going back and forth to build up past like 15 or 20 clients, and then it came up, and then it came up, and then it came up. Because to establish yourself as an authority and to build expertise takes eyes in the game, right? Like it takes a long time to get like an eye and a knack for it, right?
Yeah.
To understand humans, to understand athletes, and to understand like what someone needs to do at the right times, right? Like what you need to change for that person. Like it takes a lot of time and experience, but it also takes just a long time to build up that relationship with followers, with people who are in your community, right? The other thing is be involved in the community, number 3.
Yeah.
So if you want to build up a gym or a business, you need to be involved. If you're building up a gym, you need to be involved in your local community, right? You want to profile in that local community. You want to build a community in that, and you want to be involved in your own gym community very heartily, right? Like very much, right? Absorbedly, maybe. But like as a coaching, like be involved in the strongman community, right? Like rock up to comps. Like, you know what, this year at ASM, like middleweight series and stuff was one of my favorites because I saw so many more coaches there.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, we've been paying out of pocket for fucking years to come to all these comps, to coach our clients, because that's our fucking job. Like on game days, like we don't go to every comp, but like national comps, like that's where it happens.
That's
right?
why you coach. Yeah.
And I said, like, I'm a good coach online. Like I'm happy to say, like, I'm a great coach online, but like I'm a great game day coach.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I can pull someone's head in the fucking game pretty well, and I can read the play. And I can pick what they need to do or strategize well, right? But like, I'm good to have in your corner. Like, I'm a good corner person, right? Yeah. That's my job. That's part of my job at those big comps, to get the result that we're looking for.
Well, that's what you need at the end of the day as an athlete.
100% on the when it matters, right? And you need to be able to do it when you can't have that person there, right? Which is important. It's not always going to be there, because you want to educate, not be a crutch, right? Yeah. That's the other thing with coaching, right? You want to educate, not be a crutch. But yeah, I think that like you need to be there at comps for your clients, but I think you need to be involved. If you want to build a coaching business, you need to be involved in the community. You need to be involved in the strongman community. You need to volunteer. You need to be at comps. You need to be at events. You need to create a profile, create value for the community, not just like take. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like you need to create value in the community to be able to be someone of value and worth in the community, someone that people trust in the community and stuff, which I hope I do as well. So. I definitely think they're probably the big ones.
Well, I think that's everything.
That's fucking heaps.
That's a lot. I wasn't expecting you to talk so much.
Just ask me to talk. I hate it.
So you want anything to?
No. Hopefully that gives a bit of insight.
You got the outro? Do you even have an outro?
Thank you for listening to The Strongman Way, of The Strongman Say, and we will see you on next week's episode where we'll delve deep with Lee Shaw. He hasn't agreed to that yet, so we'll see. But thanks to Bradman for the wonderful interview, and I hope we covered everything that you need to. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Like you probably can tell, I'm an open book. I just don't really speak that much because it's not like I'm just a coach, right? Like I'm just here to coach, and that's what I speak about mostly. But if you ask, like Bradman knows, like he can sit up here and ask questions. I'll answer anything. So if you got questions, feel free to ask.
We can test that with my Instagram questions.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for having me.